Hello, friends, and welcome to Monday Night Crafty Chat with the most adorable little periscope ever. He's so cute. Oh, I forgot to turn off the backseat gaming prompt. Let me just go do that while everyone enjoys some penny time. He's thinking about getting a drink. You guys should all definitely hydrate as well. Oh, thank you. Well, welcome, friends. Welcome to Monday Night Crafty Chat. It is, in fact, the first Monday of spooky season. I have found us some spooky royalty-free music. I like it so far. It's like very atmospheric, plinky piano, but we'll see. I think I said lo-fi in my stream title, so I might have to actually put on lo-fi at some point. So yes, welcome. We've got Pennywise keeping us company tonight. We're going to be doing some knitting, some chatting, some hanging out. So yeah, if you are out there watching, grab something to drink, grab your project, come and settle in, and let me know how your weekend was. I would love to know. We had a pretty busy weekend here for us, anyways. We got a lot of cleaning, organizing stuff done. So yeah, it was a pretty big weekend. I got groceries in, and that's always an adventure trying to get those all away before my illness catches up with me. But no, it's all good. And then today has just been pretty quiet and pretty chill as well. We're at the start of a new week, start of a new season, start of a new month, start of a lot of things. Hi, Mom. Welcome. Beautiful weather, reunited with your bike, so lots of cycling. Fantastic. It has been beautiful weather. There has been an absolutely amazing breeze going through the house today. It's been so lovely. The music just got a little bit thumpy. But yeah, I woke up a little bit early this morning, and I went and sat in the family room under the big windows and sipped my coffee and just watched the helicopters that were circling. Don't know why they were circling. They were circling. It was a little bit eerie. Yeah, okay, this music is too thunky plinky for me. We're gonna do lo-fi. I tried the Halloween. Let's see. There we go. Harris Heller. You've got me. You've got my vibe. Yeah, it's always interesting because, like, usually one helicopter just means like a traffic accident or something, but there were definitely at least two. It was very strange. It really reminded me of Welcome to Night Vale because they've got the secret police helicopters which constantly circle the town. But still, it's a lovely way to wake up. Like I finished doing all of my animal care and everything like that just as the sun was like mostly up but not completely up. So I got to see the last of the sunrise. It was lovely. It was a really nice morning. Was doing a bit of work on stuff for the Etsy shop. I might show you guys later in the stream what I've been working on. So yes, if you've joined us with a project, please let me know what you are working on. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to be working on today. Yes, Tooch is working on the hyena cross stitch. Oh, it's so nice. One of these streams, I'm going to have to steal it from her and show you guys what it looks like. It's looking so good. She does have progress pictures up in the Discord, but it looks so cute, and it's only, several thousand stitches from being finished at this point. So I love it. But I actually wasn't sure what I was going to work on today, because in a fit of finishitis, which is totally unlike me, I finished 3 projects in very short order, which you've seen on Monday Night Crafty Chat over the last few weeks. I finished the sandworm socks. I finished the housewarming gift from Moon, and then just this weekend, I finished a pair of knee highs for Toot, which someone mentioned to me, "Oh, you finished those so fast." No, I didn't. I started them August of last year. It's taken me over a year. That's not a fast finish. So I finished 3 projects really, really quickly. And I was like, okay, I give myself permission to start a new project. I give myself permission to start a new spooky season project. Maybe I'll do like a little spooky cross stitch. That sounds like fun. Something simple, a couple thousand stitches, just for the month of October. And I was really excited. I was picking out patterns, and then I was like, I'm not really feeling it. I'm not feeling the new cast on, which is something I have almost never said in my life. So I had an idea. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll show everyone how I kit up a project and get it started on stream. And just not really feeling it. I might start one later this week if the bug bites. Both of my existing cross-stitch projects have, one is almost 9,000 stitches. One is about 2,000 stitches left. So I wanted to pick up something tiny. But I might just get back to work on my snake and lavender wreath, because that one's the closest to being finished, and it looks so good. And it is very witchy, so it's definitely within spooky season. So Toots put up a link to the Discord. So if you do want to join in the fun and see all of the updates and share your own project updates, you can do that. You'll get all of the schedules for all of the streams. You'll get any announcements about change of plans. And we share lots of pet pics, and if you need help with a project, you can go there. It's just a pretty chill, cozy space. So yeah, I was thinking I'll start something new for stream. That'll be fun. We'll start something new together. I picked out a couple of patterns that I wanted to do, but I just wasn't feeling it. So we are working on the Kalani blouse. The Kalani top. Pullover, sweater, whatever you want to call it. Hello, Moon. Welcome in. Welcome in. I'm so glad you're able to take a break and come hang out with us. We're just talking about projects. So I'm working on the Kalani top by Paisley Knits. It is a V-neck raglan done in an all-over Irish moss stitch. And when I started working on it, I thought it was a pretty simple basic raglan, very straightforward. Some simple shaping, simple detailing. It was going to look very like nice and clean and classy, which it is. But the shaping is not as simple as I thought it was. It's actually requiring me to pay much more attention to the pattern than I thought I would have to. Because usually with a raglan type sweater, you start with a certain number of stitches, and then you increase you mark 4 points, basically either side of the shoulder seam. So you can see this is one of the raglan shoulder seams right here. You can tell it's quite visually set off. Sorry, just making sure I'm not getting any static. I've been having mic problems with this mic. I might need to try and get it replaced. Okay, there we go. So you can see the raglan sleeve detail here. So basically in a regular raglan, what you would do is every other round, you would increase on either side of this. So you increase 8 stitches every other round, and you just do that until it's big enough. With this one, there's more increases to create more of a full shape. So sometimes you're increasing on the wrong side. Sometimes you're not increasing in a certain spot, but increasing in another spot. So it's, I'm going a little bit old school, and I have my little notepad here. Hello, Bella. I have my little notepad here. And I've written out every row that I have to do. Basically every row that I have to do. And then as I do them, I will scratch them off so I know where I am in the pattern. And I just wrote little notes as to what I'm doing on each of those rows. Also, Bella is here. Bella, baby, do you want to come snuggle? There's room for you to snuggle today. Yeah, come on. Please hold. Snuggle if you're snuggling. No, okay. Oh, we're just destroying things on my desk. Okay, cool. That was the sound of Bella slamming my mic into my face. Your internet was stinky? Well, I'm glad you're here now. Are you going to take a little break from packing and join us for a bit? Oh, you went to the office. All right. Well, I hope we'll be good company on your transit home. Bella's here. Penny's here. I'm here. Toot's here. It's all a good time. So, she is trying to determine which position is most intrusive. Well, okay, what happens is she usually snuggles right here, but the mic is kind of in her way. So if I can get her to settle in her usual spot, she'll be fine. But she's doing her happy drooly thing, so that means that she definitely wants cuddles. Anyway. So yeah, so I've just got my little old school list here of the rows that I'm on. I'll tick them off as I go. And yeah, I'll be able to keep track of where I am in the pattern. I am very, very close to joining it in the round. So like for a V-neck, obviously you've got a V-neck. So right now I'm kind of working back and forth until I get to the point of the V. And then I'll join it in the round and just work around and around and around rather than back and forth on either side of the V. So I have to finish this row, which I'm almost there, as you can see. I've only got that many stitches, and then one more row, and then we're joining in the round. So the pattern also calls for moving the beginning of round, which is moving the beginning of the round isn't uncommon. So that basically just usually means moving your marker and then saying, okay, this is where my round starts now. But this pattern actually has you breaking your yarn and slipping stitches. I'm pondering not doing that, but because the increases are so complicated, I might do that anyways. There we go. I might do that and just follow the pattern exactly, and that way I don't miss anything. Yes, this is how I knit. This is how I play video games. Her head is tucked over my arm. Her paws are tucked under my arm. Her tail is over my arm, and her back paws are under my arm. Although usually for video games, she's further down on my arms, so just my hands can move. My children are strange, goofy children. Speaking of, I can't see Penny. Where did Penny go? So having a penny cam is a new experiment I'm doing, because for the snake enclosures, the camera setup has to be wireless, because we can't have any wires going in or out of the enclosure, because that would be just enough space for someone to get out. So I have enough juice in the camera to go for a 2-hour stream. So that's what we're doing. Oh, he's in his perceive? Okay. They're called hides because they like to hide in them. But we like to watch Penny when he's in his hide, so we call it his perceive. He's not hiding, he's being perceived. Alright. Row done. Also, a few years ago, I got a Halloween stationary advent, which basically meant it was a little box with 13 tiny packages, and every day I opened a package in October, and I got little Halloween stationery, and this is one of them. Is a little notepad. Am I sure that's not redundant? No. No. I know, isn't it adorable? It says, "You're my type" on the bottom. And I very rarely use them because they're not sticky notes, they're just like paper notes. But but every now and then they're quite useful. Hi, but you got my soul. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. I hope your Monday's going well. Starting another week. And I know what my mom is working on. She told me that if she caught the stream, she was going to be working on her dishcloth, which is the only thing she knows how to knit. So it's dishcloths or bust. I actually wrote down the pattern for the dishcloth for her. And then some water dropped on it, so I had to rewrite part of the pattern. Technology. Progress. But yes, we're so close to joining in the round. So I joined in the round. As you can see, I'm working on row 12. And then I'm going to join in the round, do one more row of increases, and then I've got 9 rows, and then I'm finished the yoke. And that's the point that so the yoke is the top part, basically the shoulders to the underarms of a sweater. So at that point, I'll put the stitches for the sleeves on a separate needle, and then just continue working on the body. At which point, before I continue working on the body, I'm gonna try it on tubing, and try it on. So we'll see how it's sitting, how it's fitting. I'm very excited. I should put the pattern on sticky notes so I can just put it on her needles. Yeah, I should do a sticky note, cast it in resin, and stick it to a progress keeper. It's the most you've knit in ages. Yeah. You actually have to sit down and be still in order to knit. Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Moon. Still is relative, yeah. Cross stitch feels very active for you. Yeah, I guess because you're using your brain and you're using your hands at the same time. And you're probably also watching videos or watching streams or playing games and that kind of thing too. So yeah, no new starts. I was going to be like, okay, October 1st, I'm going to do a spooky cross stitch in the month of October. It's going to be great. It's going to be thematic. I'm just not feeling it. So we're not going to add extra stress for no reason. While I was in the hospital, I borrowed a bunch of cross stitch magazines through Libby. Libby is the local library app. I know, who am I and what have I done with DH? I know, it's so not like myself. But I borrowed a bunch of cross-stitch magazines with Libby. And you can go back and browse kind of like the back catalog. So I went through their World of Cross Stitch, Just Cross Stitch, and Cross Stitcher were the 3 magazines I looked at. And then I went and looked at the Halloween, October, fall issues, and just pulled a ton of patterns from the from the magazines. So I have lots of free stitchy witchy options. I do have all month to be spooky. It is okay. Yeah, I'm glad I also have the finishing energy. All year to be spooky, true. November, December, I can be jolly, and then the rest of the year I'm spooky. There is at least one Christmas project I want to do. Once I figure out what my stitches are here. There's at least one Christmas project I want to do, but I'm not going to start that until November. As for spooky projects, I've still got my Chucky Raglan working, so I might do that because it shouldn't take too long to finish. So since I finished Toots knee highs, I actually am finished with my projects for other people, which was a very nice feeling until I immediately offered to make some dishcloths and cat toys for my sister-in-law. So that's going to happen. Yes, I have other projects. If you caught the Whip Confessional stream, I have other projects that I am working on. They're just kind of hanging out in various stages of doneness. I only have 12 active whips. Not active. I have 12 whips. The only active whip I really have is this guy right now. The rest of them are kind of tucked away. But yeah, the Chucky pullover, I think, might get done this month. Maybe that'll be my focus. That and the cross stitch, the snake and lavender wreath. My brain is just not firing on all cylinders today. I'm telling you. Well, I guess 2 Christmas projects. Because one, I want to do a muscle burrow out of my sparkly striped Christmas sock wool. Muscle burrow is it's a hat pattern I've made a couple of times before. I absolutely love it. So I want to do a muscle burrow out of that. And then there's the Advent shawl that I started last year, the What Tomorrow Brings. And I wanted to work on that kind of during the Christmas season as well. But for spooky projects, I've got Chucky, I've got my snake and lavender wreath, which is very witchy, I love it. And I've got my DJ Music Man pullover. FNAF movie coming out this month, by the way. Who is excited? I'm so excited for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. DJ Music Man won't be in it, but I'm still very excited. You're excited for us. Thank you, Moon. Yeah, you know we're big. Ooh, okay, bye, Bella. Toot just got up, and I think Bella thinks that she's getting treats now. But yes, we're very excited for the FNAF movie. It's going to be so good. Oh. Matthew Lillard as Purple Guy. Chef's kiss. I have been having like the biggest desire to rewatch Scream. Keep moving, ma'am. Ma'am? Ma'am, you can't park here. Ma'am, this is a drive-thru. You can make Scream happen? Yeah, that might be a good way to spend our week. I don't know, the original Scream, it's just so good. So good. We'd have to stop playing Phasmo for 5 minutes? Yeah, no, never mind. No, thank you. We have been playing so much Phasmophobia. It's just, I didn't realize that it was controller compatible, or else I would have played a lot more of it. But I've spoken before about how like mouse and keyboard just isn't that comfortable for me, so that's kind of why I never really played a lot of it, because I don't know why I didn't check, but because everyone I've ever seen play it has played mouse and keyboard, I assumed that that it wasn't controller compatible. But it's been controller compatible this entire time. So as soon as we figured that out, we've been playing it nonstop. We'll do like 3 missions in a row and then take an hour-long break to de-spookify ourselves. Rewind time. Okay. I'm getting a lot more confident in the game, though. Because I used to just be a total fraidy cat and never want the ghost to hunt me ever, and then cry because I died so often. But I'm kind of at the point now where I'm okay getting hunted and I can survive most of the time. And if I don't survive, I know why I didn't survive. It's not like just random death. I have to keep remembering to turn my flashlight off. That's what ends up murdering me more than anything else. I'm learning. Yes. So I am very happy to only have. Sorry, my cheek is itchy. I'm very happy to only have projects for myself on the needles, because there's less stress when I abandon something for several months. Because it's all for me. I'm the only one who is impacted by this. But I do want to make some progress on some stuff. I'm feeling in a finishy, progressy mood, so. Really, sorry, Bella. There you go. You're okay. I know. Really, if I wanted to, like, finish something, my Chucky pullover is probably the closest. Just to clarify a point, people I'm making things for have not been pressuring me. I put that pressure on myself. Absolutely. Yes. I put that pressure on myself because I feel guilty that I promised them something and then didn't deliver. Yes. So that is my guilt. No one I've made things for has been bugging me about them or anything like that. There's no Team Toot socks. No. It's fine. Yeah, no, I'm sorry if I phrased it that way. But no, Toot knows that when I make something for them, it's going to happen eventually. So yes, actually, Bella, Bella. These are the socks I just finished for Toot. They are knee-high socks in this very cool Halloween sock wool from Hobby. So the first time I made Toot a pair of knee-high socks, I bought 2 balls of sock wool, which is 100 grams each. So I had 200 grams of yarn, and then when I finished, I had more than 100 grams of yarn left. So I was like, okay, I only need 1 skein of yarn. So this was my experiment because I could only buy 1 skein of this yarn at the time. It was sold out unless I got it in a 3-pack, and I didn't want to get 2 3-packs because, yeah. Anyways, so I actually did fairly well. The black is Patton's Croy, so I did the heels, toes, and cuffs in Patton's Croy. And then you can kind of see, I'm trying to show. I ran out of yarn. This is the decrease point where the toe starts. So I ran out of yarn about an inch before the toe. And really, I should have done a little bit longer. I need to dial in my foot length for Toot. So these ones turned out a little bit short again. So yeah, so I finished just an inch short and I made both socks match. Because we love matching stripes. But still, a pair of knee-highs almost out of 100 gram skein is a lot better than buying 2 skeins and having a ton left over, because the yarn for the last pair of knee-highs then became my vintage knit flat socks, and I still have yarn left over from that. So, but now I don't have enough to make a pair of socks out of it. I just have a bunch of random sock yarn. I guess Granny Square time. Bella is so comfortable. Thank you for saying they look great. Thank God no one is expecting you to finish the dishcloth. No, after that needlepoint flower took you 17 years? I say like I have any room to talk on how long things take me to finish. Oh, totally, honestly. Absolutely, honestly. Speaking of old embroidery projects. Mom, do you remember in my bedroom at home I had that Guardian Angel cross-stitch piece that my Aunt Helen made for me? The one on the blue fabric. It's sitting behind me in a box because I need to rehang it on our wall here. It came with me when I moved. So apparently it was from a kit, like a Dimensions kit, because someone found the exact same one in a thrift shop, made a TikTok about it because they that was their thing. They made TikToks about cross-stitch pieces they found in thrift shops. Anyways, and Toot randomly came across this TikTok of the exact same piece and had a total double take. It was the most bizarre moment. We were lying in bed. I was almost asleep, and she went, "You have to look at this." It was so weird seeing my cross stitch on the TikToks. It was very eerie. Like, obviously it wasn't exactly the same because my aunt signed the one that I have and all that stuff. But yeah, it was very weird. Very, very weird. We've got a bunch of stuff that needs to be rehung, pictures and things like that. I found a bunch of pictures of our children that we wanted to get hung. Oh, she always followed patterns? Yeah, so it's not surprising that she picked up a kit somewhere. I guess I had just never thought of the fact that it was a kit because it was the exact same color fabric and the exact same color choices for the thread, so it had to have all come together as a set. And then I think I found the set, so if I wanted to make another one, I could buy the kit off of eBay. Such a thing is possible. But yeah, I've got, like, there's pictures of our children. Our wedding picture came down a while ago and hasn't been hung back up yet. And a couple of cross-stitch pieces, a couple of needlepoint pieces from my family. So we've just got to do some redecorating, rehanging. Bella and I are holding beans. Beans. Bella's like, Father, why are you doing this to me? Father, cease. I know, that was undignified for a lady of your advanced age. Huh? So we're getting like a double critter cam tonight. I'm really excited to try this one on. So that's why I'm kind of focusing on it, at least to get to the yoke. Because, like, I could put it on the try-it-on tubing and try it on now, but I won't really know how it's going to fit until it's joined in the round and I've got it down to the yoke so I can see, like, where the underarm sits and everything. So I'm resisting the urge to try it on now because then I'll just have to try it on later. The cats ever knock stitches off the needle constantly. All of the time. Fixing drop stitches is one of the first skills a new knitter usually unlocks because it happens so often. Sometimes it's a pain to fix, sometimes it isn't. She just straight up headbutted my mic all the way out of the way so she could come and settle again. I know, the mic is in your way, baby. Too bad. Daddy is streaming. Father, cease your prattle. So yeah, look how pretty that is. So this yarn, I absolutely love this yarn. It's one of my favorite yarns to work with. It's just some combination of being the right thickness and the right, like, roundness and plumpness that it just feels really, really nice in my hands. Like, I love working with it because it feels good. Not so much like I love the fabric it creates as well, but the actual like tactile sensation of the yarn moving through my fingers is quite nice. It's got the good touch to it. So this is Karen Big Cakes in the colorway Summer Berry Tart. Um, but if you're familiar with the Karen Big Cakes, uh, Karen Cakes, it's like it comes in a cake, and the big cakes are bigger. There's 5 colors, and as you can see, there's only 4 here. I've actually cut out one of the colors, which is a bright yellow, which I like the yellow with this mix of colors, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it for the I-cord detailing instead and just have it as like a little pop. But I really love this palette. The problem is the yarn's been discontinued. I thought I only had 2 cakes of it, and one cake is basically 8 stripes. So from here to the end of this blue was 1 cake. And I thought I only had 2 cakes, and I'm not even done the yolk yet. So I was like, eee. I found a 3rd cake. I'm so happy. Still might not be enough yarn. So I have 2 options if I run out of yarn. I can make short sleeves. So I'm doing the body first, so I can make it short sleeved. Or I made a cat blanket out of this yarn, which has at least another 2 cakes in it. So I could unravel the cat blanket. I'm sorry, Pico. And add that in. So it kind of depends on the cake of the yarn, and everyone has a different sweater quantity number. We actually had this discussion in one of my knitting servers, like how much a sweater quantity or an SQ is, and it depends on like what kind of garment you make and what size. So an SQ for me is 1,800 to 2,000 yards comfortably. Whereas for someone who's knitting a smaller medium, it might be as low as 1,200 yards or 15. So you kind of have to figure it out for yourself. So because I cut out one of the repeats, I'm not sure exactly what the yardage in each cake is. I could figure it out. I could weigh it and do a bunch of math and stuff like that, but I just haven't done that yet. Because I know the yardage per gram of the yarn. So in theory, if I weighed what I have left and then did math, I could figure out how many yards total I have, and then that would give me a good idea of how close I'm going to be. So we'll see. But yeah, I might, because I bought like 5 of these cakes, of the big cakes, which is a lot of yarn. 5 big cakes is a lot of yarn. But it had been on clearance and I loved the color, so I picked it all up. And then I started crocheting a sweater for myself, and I got the entire back piece done and one of the fronts, and I just didn't like it. I didn't care for it. I didn't like how heavy it was. So instead of frogging it, I sewed the 2 pieces together and turned it into a big cat blanket. But I think I used quite a lot of yarn in that, because crochet eats up yarn significantly faster than knitting does. So that's my backup plan, is I might have to frog the cat sweater. Use 4 skeins of big cakes for the first sweater you made for Dad. Okay, yeah. So that's the Scottish reel one, right? With the different blocks of textures. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that makes sense. And that was Karen Big Cakes in the colorway Grape Jelly, I believe. But yeah, that was crochet, which takes up a lot more yarn. But I'm happy that I found, because I was planning on just doing a really basic, simple raglan sweater with this yarn because I wanted to make something for myself. I wanted to use the yellow as a little pop of color. And then I spotted this pattern, and it's got some texture, it's got some nice detailing. So I'm really happy about my choice to use it for this. Every now and then, so I have my queue. I have like my queue of patterns I want to make, and I have yarn for. And all the yarn that I own, except for my sock yarn, which is generally just balled up in a cheese ball jar. All of my yarn that I own has a project associated with it. So I have a plan for everything. So when I come across something new that I want to make, I have to take a look at what I have queued up and decide first of all, what yarn I have that would work for it. And then if I want to make the new project more than whatever I had originally queued up for it. Because I don't want to buy any more yarn unless it's to finish a project that I've already started or that I already have most of the yarn for. Because I think I figured, let me take a quick little sneaky peek. I have the yarn for 19 projects. Yeah. I have 19 projects queued up. Well, I have 20 projects queued up, but one of them uses scraps, so I don't really count that. So I guess 18, because 2 of them are scrappy projects. I have 18 projects that are queued up. I have the patterns picked out, and I have the yarn earmarked for that pattern. But then after I finish those 19 projects, however many projects, the projects for Cusco's projects, the projects specifically designed for Cusco. I'm so tired, guys. I'll be out of yarn. I will have like small amounts of sock yarn. I will have scraps. But yeah, just small amounts of yarn, small amounts of scraps. And that's it. And then I can be a little bit more discerning with my yarn purchases. That is the point. So only buying yarn for stuff that I really, really, really want to make. I do have some like dream projects in mind, which are projects that I really, really, really want to make, but I don't have the yarn for. 2 of them are Mr. Rogers' recreation cardigans from the Knitting the Neighborhood book. One of them is the Stephen West fragmentation pullover. And then I think the rest are cross stitch. I've been very conservative in my dreaming, apparently. A cat summons, but we already have a cat. Alright, let's get some treats out. How close am I to the end of this row? Not very close at all. Okay. Alright, let me just set this carefully aside. Yeah, we'll do a cat summons in lieu of a treat eat. Treat eats are disabled for today because Penny's up on Critter Cam. Penny eats on a schedule. He doesn't get treats. That's it. Bella. Daddy's secret drawer treats. Ambitious. It's so hard not to buy so much of the Briggs & Little when we're in Nova Scotia. Yes. Yes, I love Briggs & Little. It is my absolute favorite yarn, and it is so readily available in Nova Scotia. I would love to go to the mill. The mill is in New Brunswick. There you go, baby. Any other cats wish to come? All right, just knock the treat onto Daddy's lap. Other cats? Hello? Gigi? Gorly. Binks? Pico? Go. Binks, come on. Come on, Binks. Binks. Pico is patrolling the outside. Oh, get off my keyboard, baby. Thank you. Come on, Binks. You have to come over here and be on camera. Pico doesn't, because Pico's special. Okay. Binks is done. The only one who wants to be on camera is Bella. The others are getting treats. I'm just throwing them at them. Okay, one more. One more, you greedy little shit. She is vibrating with her need for these treats. The rest of them are at my feet, and they're not coming up onto camera. A treat fell in my lap, and Bella was just digging for it. So yes, my plan is to finish those like 19 queued projects, or like switching them out for different projects before I buy more yarn. But so far this year, I've finished 23 projects. So that's really only another year of making, and I'll be very low stash, which is very exciting. Very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. We got Bella because she's like this whenever there's treats around. Thank you for the hydrate. I will hydrate again. We got Bella a digging mat. So it's this mat, and it's got these little felt pockets on it, and you kind of stuff treats into the pockets, and then the cat has to dig for them and try and get them out. And it's just a little bit of enrichment rather than just feeding them treats. So we got that for her that we've got to start using, because she'll go nuts for treats. Anyway, while I've got that set aside, I'm going to show you guys what I've been working on for the Etsy store. Get us a little bit hype. So, are you ready for some very cool spooky season stitch markers? Look at those. Yes, Toot just threw up a link to the Etsy shop. So if you're interested in some spooky season stitch markers and progress keepers, they will be up in the Etsy store as soon as I get them photographed and up in the Etsy store. So we got those ones. These ones all flipped over. We got some of these boys. So I've got sets of 3 stitch markers. So I've been spending some of my time jewelry making. We've got these sets of 3 stitch markers. And as you can see, they're on the light bulb stitch markers. So they're great for both knitting and crochet. And then we've got progress keepers. And the progress keepers will come in a set of 2. They've got just a little more hardware on them. So progress keepers, you would click. Thanks, Nightbot. Progress keepers, you snap into your work. I'll show you on the piece I'm using. To mark your progress or mark the point where you need to measure decreases or increases from. So a lot of people will mark kind of the center point of their chest and then use that to measure from for how long they want the sweater to be. So we've got, there's one set of progress keepers there. Little ghost witch and kitty witch. I like this one. Little Ouija planchettes. So yeah, so I've been doing a lot of jewelry making. Probably going to do a bit more because I've got the bug now. I made a bunch for myself, which is why I have the supplies. So I made a ton of progress keepers and stitch markers for myself. I'm probably going to end up making some more because I made some closed loop beaded stitch markers that I actually really, really like. So I might make some more of those just for like marking my raglan stitches and things. Closed loop are a little bit less versatile than the light bulb stitch markers, but I like the way that they look and they're functional for what I need them for. So you can see I'm actually using one here to mark the right side of my work. So this is one of the ones that I made for myself. I also made some with some buttons and some other charms and that kind of thing. So yeah, so those are going to be up in the Etsy store. I'm hoping tomorrow, depending on my energy levels. I've just got to do the pictures. I've already written up the product descriptions. They will be available for $10 a set with $2 shipping, and that's Canadian. So very limited run. Especially these days, my hands they're not so bad right now. They're pretty steady, but they have been quite shaky lately. So jewelry making is not something I'm able to do a lot of for a long time. I sat down with a podcast this morning, and then I was just watching my podcast, sipping my coffee, and I'd make like 2 stitch markers and then sit and wait for my hands to stop shaking and then do a couple more. Chronic illness life, am I right? But yeah, that's been really nice. We're both very crafty. We have a lot of random craft supplies hanging out. So it was nice to go looking for craft supplies and having pretty much everything I needed already there. You know that chronic illness life for sure. Yeah. Yup. It do be like that sometimes. It do be like that. Just do what you're able to do when you can do it. Yep. But it's so nice just setting up. I had my little tablet set up with my podcast, and I had my supplies, and I could just do a little bit here, a little bit there, and the cat surprisingly did not try to interfere with the jewelry making process, which was very nice and very surprising. Because I am very fearful of them jumping up while I'm in the middle of something and just destroying everything. Bella did decide to do some redecorating while I was there. Next to my little spot in the family room is a shelf full of elephant stuffies. And so I was just making my jewelry things, and all of a sudden a stuffy just kind of bounced into view, and I'm like, what is going on? And then another stuffy bounces into view. And then another stuffy bounces into view. And I was like, what is going on? Bella was up on the shelf, like, digging at the stuffies to try and make herself comfortable and just kind of yeeting them off the shelf in order to make herself comfortable. So she curled up when she had, evicted several elephants. She curled up in that spot for about an hour, and then she left. So I went around picking up elephants. It's very kind of the cats. That's why you close every door possible when you're doing something like diamond painting. Yeah. In retrospect, I should have just closed the door ahead of the jewelry making process. Yeah, especially Bella. If she wants a space, she will take that space. It doesn't matter who or what is in that space. As you could see with my chest, she decided that she wanted that space and took that space. So this is done in an all-over Irish moss stitch pattern. So moss stitch and seed stitch are often... It's one of those things where they sometimes mean the same thing and they sometimes mean something different. So you always have to double check which one the pattern designer meant. But a standard moss stitch or seed stitch is you alternate knits and purls. So you don't create ribbing, you create like an offset ribbing pattern. It's this very lovely, knobbly kind of texture. And Toot says lemon skin fantasy. Yes. There is a crochet stitch called lemon peel. And it's done by alternating single and half double crochets. Or is it single and double crochets? I can't remember. Anyways, it's very similar to the effect of seed stitch in knitting. Single crochet and half double crochet. Okay. But we were working from a pattern that was translated from some Slavic language. And the pattern consistently referred to lemon peel as the lemon skin fantasy stitch, which just... it sounds a little bit more creepy. And we've never been able to stop referring to it that way. So an Irish moss stitch is you do 2 rows of so you're still doing knit purl, but you're offsetting it every other row instead of every row. So let me see if I can kind of show you the texture there. So you can see I've got these little columns. There we go. Of 2 knit stitches next to 2 purl stitches, and then it offsets and turns into 2 knit stitches, 2 purl stitches, and then offsets. So it's a wonderful texture. Like, it's really squashy and it looks great. And the self-striping yarn, you get a little bit of visual distinction here when you're switching colors. But it's so simple to remember that, like, I can pretty much zone out when I'm just knitting straight. It's just the increases and decreases that I need to pay attention to. And also, it's one of those things where if you can read your stitches, it's pretty easy to tell if you've messed up. And if you have to go back and, because sometimes I'll do two knits in a row and I won't realize for a few stitches, and then I'll be like, that doesn't look right. It does sound a lot bit creepy, and you would never stop referring to it that way. I know, it's horrible. The lemon skin fantasy stitch. The blanket you made for one of my grandmothers was moss stitch. Yeah, it was so squashy. You immediately made one for yourself. Yeah, it's a great texture. It really is. I was slightly concerned because I hate doing 1x1 ribbing, because I find it very annoying to constantly switch between knit and purl. So it's not my favorite thing to do is 1x1 ribbing. I kind of like, I do it, but I kind of knuckle through it. And I'm like, why am I signing up to do an entire sweater out of basically 1x1 rib but offset? But somehow it doesn't feel like 1x1 rib. It's very like potato chippy, and I just want to do one more row and one more row and one more row. Yeah, the squashy moss stitch definitely make the Tism brain go burr. And unfortunately, so with a raglan construction, you start at the collar and you go around and around, increasing and increasing, and then you'll reach a point where you're at the point where the sweater goes around the body, around both arms. So there are 427 million stitches on the needle, and every row takes 8 years to do. And I'm just about at that point. So when I get to the spot where I am splitting for the sleeves in 10 more rows, there will be 440 stitches on the needle, which is a lot of stitches. So I cannot wait to split, and then I will be working on much fewer stitches. Yes, the things we do when we are large fat men. But that's why I've been keeping track of it on paper like this, is because each row is taking me so long that like I'm picking it up and putting it down in the middle of rows, and I can't always just remember where I was. Like I know where I am in the stitch pattern based on what the stitches look like on my needle. I'm able to read the knitting. But beyond that, I'm a little bit lost. Also, my needle is slightly too short now, my cable length. So as you can see, the stitches are quite bunched up, which is making it awkward, but I don't want to switch to a larger needle just for like 10 rounds. So I'm just kind of dealing with it, even though it would make my life easier if I didn't just deal with it, but I'm dealing with it, so this is what we're doing. All right. So you can see in this case, this is where my progress keeper is. So it isn't really tracking my progress where I started today. I think I was up here when I started today. It's more there in this case to let me know that this is the right side of the work. So when I start the row where the stitch marker is, I'm working on the right side. Just double, triple, quadruple checking my pattern here. Okay, gotcha. That's what I thought it was. One thing we forgot to do, though, when we were doing our treat, so I'm going to do it now, is I'm going to switch us quickly over to the critter cam. We're going to watch Penny and his perceive for a second. And we're all going to do a big stretch. We're going to stretch up, stretch out, unshrimp your position, crack your neck, stretch your fingers, stretch your toes, hydrate. If you don't have something to drink, go grab something to drink. If you do have something to drink, take a drink. Make sure your posture is nice and proper and that you're not leaning on anything in particular. Just get nice and comfy, cozy. Do a stretch. All right. There we go. Penny came out at the very beginning of the stream and then decided he just wanted to nope out, so he's done with us now. I wish I had the ability to zoom in. Fancier cameras are on my wish list. But I wish I had the ability to zoom in from here and just like zoom right in on his perceive so you guys can see his little tiny snoot, his little tiny butt. All right. Stretching finished. We have stretched. He's going to kick me with his little tiny legs. He's got them. Don't test him. He will kick me. So we're at the start of a new month, new season. We're rocketing into fall. What are your guys' crafting plans for the month or the weeks ahead? Anything that you're excited about working on, excited about starting, or excited about finishing? I've talked a lot about what I'm working on, what I'm excited about working on. I'd love to hear from you guys. And of course, always, I'd love to hear from you in the Discord between streams too, if you're working on anything. But You Got My Soul just got a tattoo. That was very cool. Mom is working on a dishcloth, and her future projects will be a dishcloth. A spooky dishcloth? No, just a regular dishcloth. The same one, sure, spooky. It's scary how long it'll take you. Perfect. I think that qualifies as a spooky project. You're currently trying to figure out how to make knitted knockers. Oh, okay. Are you gonna donate them to the foundation, or are you making them for someone you know, or yourself? Asking if you're making them for yourself felt too personal, so I asked for someone you know, which also feels personal. Anyways, knitted knockers, they're a great project. If you're not familiar with knitted knockers, it's a charity project. But basically they created a knitting pattern and a crochet pattern for trying to think of the word, but like basically fake boobs. They're breast, not implants. What's the word I'm looking for? Prosthetics. Knitted breast prosthetics for women who have had mastectomies and who want something to fill out their clothes, basically, but don't want to use plastics or anything that's too heavy. So basically, if you want to donate them to the foundation, you knit them, and you send them in, donated to the foundation at DFW Fiber Fest. They were giving out free yarn if you promised to use it to make a set and send it to the yarn shop that donated the yarn. Oh, that's amazing. That's so cool. That is really cool. Yeah, and that's a great way to get people into knitting as well. If like, here's the yarn, here's what you can make with it, and then they can just kind of take off from there. And I think the foundation themselves has a whole list of like yarns that they like to use. So you knit them, you don't stuff them, but you knit them and then you send them into the foundation, and the foundation will stuff them according to the orders that they get. So if a woman has, needs a larger or smaller size, they'll stuff them larger or smaller before they send them out. And they're all free. So if you request a knitted knocker through this foundation, they'll send it to you for free, I believe is the way it works. It's a really cool program. But yeah, that's a really cool promotion. So the DFW Fiber Fest always looks like a fantastic time. I've seen several videos on it, and it just looks like a great Fiber Fest to go to. But they had one booth that I saw. Was it like Staghead Yarn or something? And it was like man yarn. And they had this like whole manly booth set up with like leather chairs and a fireplace for men. Cracked me up. It was so amazing. A bit overwhelming sensory wise occasionally. Yeah, for sure. I can definitely see that. I oh no. Yeah, if you guys didn't catch that, there was a small Gigi in the corner there. Anyways, Oh, the stag head yarn or whatever it's something stag yarn. It's not stag head. It's like wandering stag or something that sounds like it should be a brewery name, but it's a yarn line. Um, oh, I've been to a couple of Fiberfests. Um, just a couple of them. One was so there's one in Toronto every year. I think they've started it up again since the pandemic started, but I'm not sure. It's called the Fiber Frolic. Um, which is just a great name. So the Fiber Frolic is every year. I went to that one year. Got some really cool yarns from there. And then I went to one that was like I hitched a ride with somebody from the local yarn store. This was at least 15 years ago. But it was like in another town a couple hours away, and we made a whole road trip out of it. But I haven't really been to any more recently than that. I mean, one thing they're a danger to the wallet, but yeah, they're also very overwhelming. I do like the ones that offer social spaces and classes and stuff. Those are cool. Oh, this was your first Fiberfest? Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it then. It's so nice to just be around other knitters too, especially because most people will wear stuff that they've made. So you can kind of just walk around and like ogle people's clothes and everyone knows what you're looking at. And it's a lot more acceptable to walk up to someone and say, I love what you're wearing. What's the pattern? I saw that there was a... Did you do the bingo? Oh, you took a class to learn Turkish drop spindle. Oh, that would have been fun. I have tried drop spindle a couple of times in my life. I'm not a spinner. You learn mainly that you are not meant to spin at this time in your life. Yeah, that's valid. That's a good lesson to learn. Definitely worth the lesson. Before you bought the spindle and the fiber and, you know. But yeah, I think I saw at Dallas Fort Worth there was DFW. There was a bingo card that one booth was giving out, and like you went around and you could tick things off of your bingo. Because I was watching Nitty Natty's video on it, and one of the bingo squares was find Nitty Natty and ask her about her dog Toaster. So that was cute. Yeah, I think it was one specific yarn shop was doing it, and like if you got a bingo, you could go back and get like a stitch marker or something. It was really cute. It was a good way to like get people to see other stuff. Apparently, Snake Discovery also did that at the Tinley ARBC reptile show. Reptile shows, another danger zone that I will not be going to. Because it seems really cool. Like, it's like, oh, I get to be around reptile people and see stuff that I wouldn't normally get to see. And then you come home and you have like 6 new children. No. 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 And there's 2 big reptile shows that happen in Toronto every year. Yeah. every quarter they happen. No, that's too many reptile shows. Oh no. Oh no. At least yarn shows happen to be yearly. And there's not a lot of them in Toronto. There's the Fiber Frolic, and that's about it. No, it's not called the Fiber Frolic. It's called the Knitters Frolic. Yes, Knitters Frolic. We shall frolic without the crocheters. I don't know. Just seems unnecessarily exclusive. Ad break time. But I love this color palette. It's so like kind of retro. Like it's a little bit 70s couch Afghan, but at the same time it's really me colors. And like I like the bright yellow with it, but I just feel like it would be too much striped in. So I think it's going to look really good because the pattern calls for I-cord bind-offs at the and an applied I-cord at the V-neck. So I'm going to try it first with the yellow and see how it looks. The good thing about applied I-cords is that they're really easy to pull out. So that's good. So if I try it and I do a few inches and I don't like it, I can pull it out and do another color. That's always good. There's a convention for everything. There is a convention for everything. There really, really is. If you have a specialized interest, there's probably a convention for it. Although I kind of agree, but you got my soul with the sensory overload of it all. Like I like watching the videos, and I would like to go to a fiber festival again at some point, like when I'm able to really enjoy it. But I think right now watching videos of them is going to be a lot better for me. But it is nice to be surrounded kind of by your tribe. The other thing is like most of the people, like a good 98% of the people at fiber festivals are women. So and women and husbands holding bags. So like I don't feel super comfortable in women dominated spaces. So that's another consideration for me. They had a sensory safe room, but you couldn't find it, and you were lucky enough not to need it too badly. Well, that's actually really good that they had the sensory safe room. That's huge. I love that. Yeah, because sometimes you just need an exit away from stuff. When I was a kid at church, sometimes I would have to leave in the middle of mass and go sit in the stairwell to the basement because it was dark and quiet and there were no people. So, yes. One thing you were very happy about was that you did think there was overall a lot of women. Yes, but there were quite a few men and also a lot of trans folk. Oh, that's good. That is good. And I mean, the last time I went to a fiber festival was easily 8 years ago. So, at least. So the dynamics, demographics could have changed significantly in that time. I think the general dy- dy- why can I not say the word demographics? I keep wanting to say dynamics. That's not correct. There's a small GG in the corner of the snake enclosure again. All right. Anyways, I feel like the general demographics of knitting and crafting have been shifting more queer, um, and more away from being fully woman-dominated space. Um, but then again, that could just be me curating my space as well, because I tend to gravitate towards queer content creators and queer makers, queer people in general. So I could just be surrounding myself with other people like myself. I was actually watching the podcast I was watching this morning was Needles at the Ready, which is a gay couple from Connecticut. And I love these boys, but they can talk forever. Like each podcast is 2 hours long. And like all they do is talk about what they're working on, what yarn they've bought, and the books they've read recently. And like they can just talk forever. It's really cute. Um, and one of them is a nurse, so I connect with that on a healthcare worker level. Um, and the other one worked in customer service until recently, when Needles at the Ready took off so much that he was able to make the podcast and yarn dyeing his full-time gig, which is very cool. You think I'm right, Moon, about the spaces becoming more queer? You do wonder if you've got a skewed view, but really think that overall the space is very queer friendly, and I believe the demographic is skewing younger now as well. Yeah, I do believe that as well. And that kind of that divide is becoming um, more noticed between kind of the old school and then the new school and people who have adapted to the new school. And I mean, Ravelry. Ravelry is the single biggest internet resource for knitting and crocheting right now, and it was created and run by two queer people. So, like, we owe it all to them. And I love seeing designers using a range of models. And I mean, that's kind of the biggest complaint is you've got the size inclusive issue, which I think is being addressed quite well by up and coming designers. But then you've also got like people making unisex clothing or stuff for anyone, but then they only model it on female models, so like it's hard to see kind of what it's going to look like on different bodies. You get to ball up your yarn now? No hands for a few? Okay. So yeah, getting to see stuff on different bodies and styled in different ways. And that's one of the reasons that I like watching Needles at the Ready, because uh while they're very much about uplifting male designers and traditionally male kind of silhouettes and clothes, they also make things that are more traditionally feminine, like lace shawls and like round yoke sweaters and things like that, and like florals, and then they style it for their male bodies and male personalities, which is really great to see. There was a yarn designer, a shawl designer, and I'm trying to remember the name of the designer. If I think of it, I will post it in the Discord. Um, but her son basically said, "Oh, I want to model your shawls," and she was like, "Great." So he modeled all of her shawls, and they did like all these new photo shoots and everything. And the son's like given the best glamour, like he's doing really well. He was like 19 or 20 at the time, and they're absolutely gorgeous shots. And a lot of people like complained because they were like, "You can't have a boy modeling lace shawls," and she was kind of like, "Well, yes, I can. Deal with it." But my creative crafty maker space, at least, is very queer, um, which is it's very nice because you can kind of like the one knitting Discord that I'm in. I was having a conversation with someone, and I knew that she uses she her pronouns, and I knew that she has a boyfriend who uses he him pronouns, and yet I still wasn't confident enough to call them in a straight relationship. I just said straight passing because I just wasn't sure enough about their dynamic. And they were like totally cool with that because they understood that in that particular space, um, we can't really make assumptions about what people's relationships look like. Oh, it was so funny the other day. You guys might have been around. G Arnold dropped in. Unproblematic wife guy. It was great. Um, and then we headed over and checked out his wife's stream a few days later, and or that night or a few days later. I can't remember. Anyways, and he gave me a shout out, which was very nice. But he used she her pronouns for me and called Toot my husband, um, which was hilarious. That's really funny for us, but yeah, just an example of someone who doesn't have that kind of like I can't be sure of anything headspace. Like you'll notice that a lot of the time, even if I'm fairly confident of someone's gender, I will still use they just in case. Um, in some cases, it is specific. Like Toot uses she they, so I will use she or they for her. But generally, if I'm not 100% certain, I'll just use they. And of course, one of the biggest knitting designers also plays with gender a lot. I'm talking Stephen West, of course. In most spaces, you ask or use they them. Yeah. Yeah. I find they them is pretty safe. Um, unless someone has specifically said what they would like to use. I think I maybe should eat my pronouns onto my background or something. I don't know. My problem is I do have a very feminine sounding voice, and a lot of people default to that, especially when I'm doing something like knitting. It's funny I say that. Because you never ever thought I sound feminine? Oh, really? Well, that's good. because I don't want to. I would like to sound as gender uh, free as I am. Gender free. Yeah, that sounds good. You just don't talk to people. Pronoun problem solved. Yep, that works too. That also works. It always shocks me when people default to she, her pronouns. Yeah. I remember. So Moon and I have been friends online for quite a while now, a few years now. And if Moon misgenders me or uses the wrong pronouns, she almost always uses he, him. It's hilarious to me. Like, not that she does it a lot. She's done it a couple of times. But it's so funny. Ophi does as well. Oh, that's too funny. Oh, that's hilarious. Like, I don't mind, especially if it's someone that I know knows my pronouns and is making a solid effort to use them. And then when I get misgendered in public as a guy, I love that when it happens because I'm like, yes, the questioning is happening. I had a child ask me once, "Are you a boy or a girl?" And I said no. Yeah, our community is great because it's just not that hard to respect someone's pronouns. Yes, the last uh the last round of paramedics we had in were great about trying to remember and use my pronouns. The nurse not so much, but the paramedics are great. Yeah, I mean, like if they had asked my gender, I would have said I'm non-binary. But he said, "Are you a boy or a girl?" And I said, "No, I'm not." I mean, oh, no worries. Thanks so much for the for dropping in, Bones. My pronouns are they them. I am non-binary. Hello. What are your pronouns? Please introduce yourself. Toot, my spouse, is hanging around. They use she, they. Toot identifies as agender, asexual, aromantic, asocial, absolutely apane. Oh, not apane. Gender fluid Vever. You'll let me know if they switch up. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, we were just talking about basically how queer crafting spaces are becoming, and if it's just a a thing where we ourselves are making our spaces queer, or if crafting spaces in general are becoming queer. Um, and I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. You identify as a social construct. Yeah, pretty much. The epitome of swinging both ways. Yeah. It's like you never really know what you're going to be in the morning. I Speaking of gender fluid people, my favorite gender fluid person in the media has to be Glenn from the Chucky movies. Um, Chucky's child is gender fluid, and they actually like Chucky actually says that and is super proud of them. I love it. I died the first time we watched Seed of Chucky. It's so cool you've never been so happy. I know! The representation in Chucky of all places. All right, have fun. Thanks for dropping by, Mom. Yeah, the amount of queer rep in Chucky, of all franchises, just makes my heart so happy. Because I adore that franchise, and then the show came out, and it was so queer. All right, thanks for the lurk. We're actually going to get wrapped up in just a few minutes, but we'll be back every Monday night for Crafty Chat. Oh, thank you for the follow. Thank you very much for the follow. So I'm going to get wrapped up here in maybe 10-15 minutes. But every Monday night we have Crafty Chat, 5 p.m. Eastern. We hang out, we do crafting, and then the rest of the week we play games. We are doing Wednesday is going to be Beacon Pines. And Friday for spooky season, I'm going to be doing some solo Phasmo runs. So yes, have good studying. I hope you do well. I'm also loving Beacon Pines. Like if I wasn't playing it on stream, I probably would have sat down and played just hours upon hours upon hours of it. It's so good. But I'm trying to like do it all on stream with my community. So yeah, it's going to take us a while. So we're going to do that on Wednesday. It's so good. It's so good. I love that game. So yeah, if you want to join us on Wednesday at 5 p.m. again. And yeah, we're like what, 4 hours deep and no end in sight. It's gonna be good. And yes, Moon, we're gonna play Phasmo. So Friday, I'm planning on doing some solo runs in the Phasmophobias. There will be special Phasmo channel point redeems on. So you can heck with me, you can get me to do stuff, you can get me to play with cursed objects, or trigger a hunt, or hide in the ghost room, or all kinds of stuff. So yeah, we're going to do that. And then next week, very exciting, next week, there is a new horror farming sim called Harvest Island. I'm going to be playing a little bit of it before stream. Hopefully going to get a video out on it. But we are going to be playing that on stream. It's brand new. And it's supposed to be Stardew Valley, but a horror game. So I'm very, very excited. We're going to be starting that next week. And Beacon Pines also a spooky horror game, so it kind of still fits the vibe. It's called Harvest Island. You had to stop bawling your yard because you missed the name. Yeah, it's called Harvest Island. It releases officially October 10th on Steam. Yes, thank you, Toot. Toot's going to drop a link in the Discord. There is a demo that you can play. I don't know if the demo's available, but there will be a demo you can play. Like, I don't know if it's available yet. I have the full game. I have access to the full game. So I'm gonna, but I've heard the demo's quite short. So yeah, it's Stardew Valley, and then yeah, but it's like a creepy island, and you have to make offerings to the gods for crop success and things like that. Running to your Steam Deck right now to wishlist it. Good. I have access to top secret information. That's very true. Okay. Bye, Bones. Bye. So yeah, I've only played a couple of minutes. It did remind me of Stardew Valley. It also reminded me a little bit of like JRPG type style interactions, like Octopath Traveler or Rune Factory, that kind of character interaction. Um, but yeah, I'm really excited to get into it. Very small. It's a single dev. He's been working on it for years. Um, but it's finally coming out on Steam on the 10th. But yeah, I hope you guys will join me for the spooky season. We're going to be playing Harvest Island, and we're going to be playing Phasmo, and we're probably going to be doing another witchy stream towards the end of the month to celebrate Samhain. And yeah, just lots of good witchy stuff. So the schedule is going to go up in the Discord, and it's going to go up on the Instagram, which I didn't do this week. I have to put it up. And yes, we're gonna do a witchy stream. I'm sorry, I keep distracting you. So towards the end of the month, I'm gonna be reading some tarot cards, talking about basic witchy crafty things. If you are in chat, you can get your cards read. If you have questions about pagan practices or Samhain or anything like that, you can get your questions answered. So we're going to do that. I have asked Moon to join me, but I know she's got a lot going on this month, so I don't want to say yes for sure Moon will be joining me. So yeah. Well, I'm so glad. Well, definitely, if you want to hop into the Discord. I'm witchy, Moon's witchy. We've got a few other witchy people in the community. It is really nice when you kind of find your tribe. I've been a practicing pagan witch person for 23 years, 22, 23 years. So I have approximate knowledge of many things. And I'm happy to share that knowledge with you guys. I just reached the end of this row, and I've got to do like a complicated fiddly bit, so I'm just putting it down because I think we're gonna just wrap up. But I'm gonna switch us over, see if we can get a glimpse of Penny before I go. So yeah, so that's what's coming up in the month of October. Again, it all kind of depends on where my health is and that kind of thing. You guys have been so great about supporting me and following me through all of this. Toot is throwing up the links now. You can check out Moonphased on Twitch. We gave her a shout out. She is a fantastic Valorant streamer, as well as a few other things. Manages to make competitive FPS cozy. So definitely go check out Moonphased. I believe her next stream is tomorrow. She can confirm. And yes, okay, so it is going to be tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. There are links to our Discord. There are links to the YouTube, which hopefully we'll have some new videos up on it soon. There is links to the coffee and the Etsy shop. There are so many links. So many links. Go and check out all the links. Thank you again, Bones, for the follow. Thanks, everyone, for coming and hanging out. My mom dropped by. Thanks, Moon. Thanks, Toot. Thanks. Thank you, Nightbot, for putting up those links again. Thanks, But You Got My Soul, for dropping by. Just thanks, everybody. I always love Monday nights. We have a little early cameo. I love Monday Night Crafty Chat. I love just hanging out and chatting with you guys. I hope you have a good night, and I will see you all in the Discord. I will hopefully see you on Wednesday for some Beacon Pines. Let's find someone to raid. Probably going to be Pix. Yep, Pix is live. On Monday nights, we usually go and hang out with Justin. Pixdish, wonderful crafter. Have a good night. I will see you guys in the Discord. I'll see you on Wednesday. I will see you in my heart. All right. We're going to raid out to Justin. Oh, you just came from his stream? That's so funny. All right, we're going to see you. All right, bye-bye. Bye-bye, my friends. Bye-bye-bye. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Bye-bye-bye. Bye-bye.